Good morning. Welcome to this edition of the 411 Talk Zone radio show. My name is Leon Jones. This morning's topic, I'm going to talk about male simps versus female simps. Now, there are female simps out there. A number of us don't talk about it. We associate simping with males. I don't use the term beta males. I just call them simps. Bottom line, if you are a man and you're looking to tell a woman what she wants to hear, but used the passive way of getting her to validate you, you are a simp. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. And when you shame another man for pointing this out to you, you are a simp. That's female nature. Basically, a male simp is a female wrapped up in a male body because he carries himself as a female. He cries. He whines. He gets hurt very easily. He cannot handle rejection. Now, there's another type of male that I will get into on tomorrow's Blog Talk Radio podcast called an incel. That stands for involuntary celibacy. But going back to this male simp, his whole narrative is to validate women. But what he's really doing is competing against men who are getting women. A simp is very uncomfortable dealing with real men because he's never encountered real men, because he comes from an environment that was feminine. And when I say feminine, I'm not just talking about being raised by a single mother. You have a lot of wimpy fathers out there as well, or very feminine fathers. If you watch the show Modern Family, that will tell you everything. And I'm talking about the character who plays Patrick, who has the domineering wife, the mouthy daughters, and those daughters run all over him. You look at the king and queens. The woman is the smart one, and he's the buffoon. And usually when it comes to the simp is always the buffoon, because he's trying to tell women what they want to hear. And at the end of the day, he's always wondering why he can't get the attention from women. Now, there's nothing wrong with courting a woman or getting to know a woman, but you've got to be honest with yourself. When you approach women, why are you approaching women? And the simp is very dishonest. See, the simp wants to be that male who gets women, but he doesn't know how to do it. So this is why he will shame other men. And when I talk about the gender war, again, brothers, it's not the women. Your enemy is the simp. Well, in the black community, you got to deal with the three-headed monster. You got to deal with the simps. You got to deal with some black women and a black pastor. So that's the exception to the rule when it comes to black men. But for the most part, as black men, our real enemy that we constantly fight every day is the simp. We just don't know it because we're not paying attention. The simp is the one who's going to do all the dirty work to show a woman that he's Superman. But meanwhile, that woman is sitting back there laughing at him because the simp is making a fool of himself. The simp is always going to be the one to be the submissive one. Because everything she says he's going to agree with. That's the characteristic of a simp. And what the simp does is give a number of these females more power. And what I mean by that, this female thinks she can go out and assume that every guy is a simp like the type of men that she has encountered. But this female doesn't like that simp. She just uses that simp for her own power. And I'm talking about the male simp now. But this male simp, what he does, if he can't get a quality female, he'll drop down and get a female that's much, much lower. She could be a hood chick. And what he's going to do is lift that hood chick up and tell her what she wants to hear. And he builds her ego up. It could be an Instagram chick. But the simp, overall, the male simp is looking for validation. It's the simp who creates policies in government that tear down men, like the divorce laws. It's the simp who makes dating difficult for men, because the simp is always blocking the masculine male. The simp is always agreeing with whatever the female says to get her attention. And females know this. It's the simp who we're battling every day. And we're going to continue to battle this male simp. I've seen it on YouTube. This is why I don't interact with many brothers on YouTube. Black men especially have allowed themselves to be simps, and when they have taken on the effeminate behavior of a female, they act just like females. They'll shame you. They'll attack you. They can't connect dots. They're very unreasonable. And if you're a man with any means, they don't like you because they can't compete with you. The whole mindset of a simp is to validate women, but simps are very hypocritical. They'll tell me that I should treat a woman with respect. Meanwhile, he's trying to do the same thing to the woman I'm trying to do. I'm trying to have sex with this woman. But again, the simp is not knowledgeable enough about female behavior to get into that woman's pants. So he's got to go around the bush by being passive. And some of your hoteps are simps. In fact, the very women that they talk about, the black queen out here, well, they don't have a black queen. They have somebody of another race. But they're trying to tell me how to conduct myself when it comes to dealing with the black queen out here. But again, I don't call women queens because they're not queens. That's a moniker that was self-promoted by hood women because they've made poor mistakes or they made poor choices in picking men. And it's also the simp has given the name queen to some of these women because he's looking for her validation. And I'm talking about the lower tiered women. And that's the big problem in the African American community with this male simp. Now, females can also be simps, but now females are using simping the opposite way. A female, if she's a top tier female, and there are a number of them out there, what she wants is control. So generally the type of woman who's going to be a female simp is going to be an older woman. This is why a number of older women like younger men, because she can be that mommy figure. And what she does, she utilizes her experience to control that younger man. She likes a man who is going to be subservient to her because it makes her feel good. Now, that's some older women, not most of them, but some of them. Let me clarify that. And let me clarify, it's a number of these modern day women as well. But when it comes to a number of female simps, she will complain about the man that she's dating, but in essence, she picked that guy because she doesn't want a man that's truly on her level or above her level, because she's trying to compete with men for power. And this goes on particularly in the African American community. This is why I did the video, there's a tug of war between black men and black women. Well, this female simp lives in a state of delusion. She talks about independence. But she's basically getting her crumbs from the United States government. Whether it's more financial aid to go to school, it's housing, it's welfare money, it's child support, it's alimony. She's living off of some type of program. But this female simp is not looking to validate any man at all. She's looking to be dominant. This is why she won't deal with men who are of means, because she can't control that man. And the female simp wants a weak man because she wants to keep the drama going by saying, well, men aren't any good, men are lazy, men don't want to work, men are irresponsible. But she intentionally picks these type of men because she gets sympathy from other women who are just like her. This female simp has issues of insecurity as well. She wants to be the man, but doesn't have the mind of a man. And in the long run, this female simp goes in and out of relationships, and she keeps finding the same type of men. In fact, she is the one who procreates with men beneath her. But she's always the one who says that there are no good men out there. And the reason why she says that is because she's not looking for good men. She's attracted to sorry men. Everybody knows this. And it happens in all communities. See, the female simp is looking to make all of the decisions. And if you look at the decisions that she makes, they're decisions that are disastrous. This female simp has issues of false empowerment because she's been told she can be independent and do whatever she wants by male simps who agree with her and by feminists. But it puts her in a quagmire because this female simp wants traditional roles where the man is serving her but then she wants the modern day roles to where she is the leader. Those two don't work. Because the female simp is very indecisive. But in the end, this female simp looks for somebody that she can control. This is why she doesn't want strong men. And again, usually this female simp is somebody like a feminist, somebody who's educated, or they claim to be educated, because a number of females who are going to college, they basically get a lot of their information from feminist professors. Also, it's a number of these females who tell their daughters that men are no good because their mothers were simps themselves, because they intentionally picked poor men. And the female simp, when she picks some of these men, she knows they're sorry. And what happens, she complains about being used by the simp. She allows the male to use her car. She wants that man not to work. And let me go back on something that I have to correct. She's not allowing the simp to use her. She is the simp. Now, here's the quagmire. Female simps and male simps do collide. And what happens is the female simp ends up controlling the male simp. And once she's done with dealing with the male simp, she throws him under the bus and moves on to another victim. This is how this whole quagmire works. This is why a number of females date down. Because in their minds, they're controlling the relationship because she has no competition. And one of the reasons in the African American community why we suffer is because some of our women, particularly the modern day women, they want to compete with men for power. They've lost their role. They're not being taught in church how to conduct themselves as partners. The black pastor, who is another enemy, a simp himself, preaches that to them every Sunday, and they believe it. And the men, going back to them, their moms tell them that you should give a woman everything, even if she's wrong. And see, the bottom line with the male simp, he will go along with this behavior from a woman, even if she's wrong, even if it's his mother. This is why a number of males love their moms so much, because their moms allow them to be men of the house or men of the house, but these men don't even have any responsibility. She's controlling him like a puppet. And that's why a lot of male simps today end up becoming homosexuals or transsexuals or cross-dressers, because they didn't have any real male influence in their lives. And it's very important that men and women stop simping, because it's not going to do either one of us any good, because at the end of the day, we have an unbalanced society. And the power that a number of women have been given by these simps in power is all artificial, because a number of women are only going to go as high as these male simps will allow them to go. And when it comes to females Again, the bottom line with them, it's all about obtaining power. They want to make all the decisions in a relationship. See, they want to feel like being the boss gives them a badge of honor. But a number of women aren't responsible themselves. And they're not accountable themselves, because what the female simp will do, she wants to make all the decisions. But then she becomes a woman at the end of the day by blaming the man for all of her bad decisions. So there's hypocrisy there, but nobody picks it up. And at the end of the day, both male simps and female simps are dangerous. You have to understand that. And this is the product of not understanding roles in a relationship. This is the product of not believing what the Most High says. It's in the Bible: God, man, woman, and child. That's the order of things. And when you go secular and step outside those boundaries, what do you get? You get simping. Simping is very, very dangerous, because both the male simp and the female simp are both emotional. They have erratic behavior. They're both insecure. They both use shaming tactics. The only difference is the male simp is looking to be subservient, or he is subservient, and the female simp is dominant. Now, there is another type of male that's below the simp, and I'm going to touch on the incel tomorrow. Can females be incels? That's another point that must be made too. And I don't believe in the name incel, because you're not being involuntary, you're being voluntary. When you become lower than the simp, you've basically taken life and you have allowed it to defeat you. And pretty much male simps and female simps are on the verge of allowing life to defeat them. Now, the only difference is between the male simp and the female simp hides behind her achievements. The male simp ends up in jail. Why does he end up in jail? Because he's doing exactly what that female told him to do, and that is to take out another person because she thought what the person did to her was wrong, even if it weren't wrong. And it could be any issue. It could be that he tried to correct that woman. And I'm talking about the masculine man. Because in every community, we have simps. Now, there are different versions of simps. They're white knights, they're manginas, they're eunuchs, but they're all synonyms of one another. So when it comes to male simps and female simps, there are similarities, but I've pointed out most of the differences. But when you add everything up, simping is simping no matter what. It is dangerous. Because it basically leads to the downfall of societies, because it takes the roles away from both men and women, and it reverses the trends. Men were made to provide, build, and maintain. Women were made to nurture, administer, and facilitate. And I want you to understand this from an African proverb. Society can rise no higher than the moral position of its women. I'm going to repeat that. Societies cannot rise above the moral position of its compliments women. Now, it is nothing wrong with men and women complimenting each other in a relationship. But I see too much simping going on when it comes to men looking for a woman's validation. And I'm looking at too many women also simping when they are dating down because they want to control the relationship, because in their minds they want to compete with men on the same level for decision-making power. That makes no sense. When men and women understand their roles in society, we don't have to worry about simping. But the bottom line, when it comes to simping in any society, it's detrimental not just to relationships, but in the workplace. Because what we do is we basically take the roles and we reverse them, where men become subservient and women become dominant. Now, of course, a relationship is not 100% on a man's terms. No. However, when a man needs to put his foot down, he should put his foot down. But now, if a woman has something that a man missed, she should be supporting him. Because, let me give you this example. If a family gets kicked out of their house because the mortgage wasn't paid, who are they going to look at? They're going to look at the man. Because the man is the one who's supposed to be providing for his family, not the woman. And I see too many of men and women, regardless of age, doing a lot of simping, and they pay attention to what they see on TV. And see, the mainstream media allows both men and women to be simps, and it gives them this artificial power. Well, when you live in a real world, you have real world problems. And when men and women cannot compliment each other in relationships or in a workplace, you have a society that is on the verge of collapsing. Now, when it comes to simping on social media from men and women, all that does, particularly in the black sector, that just puts out to every other race how dysfunctional that we are as African American people. Because simping also allows for disrespect. Because when you are a male simp, that female is not going to respect you, because men are looked at upon what they're producing. Not their swag, they're producing. Their willingness to make decisions, be responsible. Women are looked at based on their nurturing, not your college education and not your job. But at the end of the day, both men and women need to wake up and smell the coffee. Because the more simping you do, the less valuable you are. Why? Because you're continuing to allow your communities to become blighted. And once they become blighted and they continue to be dysfunctional, well, somebody else is going to come in and take your community up from under you. And if you don't believe me, you look at the gentrification that's going on now. But all I'm saying is we got too much simping, and it must stop. We need to turn back the clock to traditional roles. And that's my commentary for this edition of the 401 Talk Zone radio show for this morning, Independence Day, Wednesday, July 4th, 2018. You can tune in to the 401 Talk Zone radio show every Saturday from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Although I've been doing my Blog Talk radio shows every Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. If you want to get in on the call, guest calling number is 215-383-5785. I'm going to touch on the incels tomorrow. So also, if you like my videos, please share and subscribe to the 401 Talk Zone radio show right here on YouTube so I can continue to give you quality information for educational purposes from a professional and mature perspective on my channel. I don't engage in controversy, debates, or emotional issues, nor do I participate in drama and or unnecessary bickering because my channel is a self-awareness channel. I'm here to teach the values of the real world, so all the content that I produce is 100% real, but it's positive. And if you have knowledge, you have understanding, and you will succeed. So remember, knowledge is power. And if you have a business, a topic, or new YouTube channel that you would like for me to discuss on YouTube or Blog Talk Radio, simply email me at lej6521@gmail.com. And if you have a comment, please leave your comments in the comment section under the video. But make sure that your comments are pithy. No bloviating, pettifogging, or filibustering if you wish to opine. Now that's it for this video. Till next time, my name is Leon Jones. Remember, please be gentle and respectful to each other, and have a wonderful and blessed day. God bless you.